you. Well, first, I do want to welcome you to our July Seniors Living Smarter seminars, or seminar. I laugh when I say our title, Embracing Technology, Don't Be Left Behind. Now, truthfully, where do I fall in that category? Just trying to swim and keep up. It's Jeff has been a tremendous resource on this topic, as has Brielle at the medical registration desk. So they're going to be helping out a lot today, as well as our panelists, which we'll introduce in just a minute. Okay, they're still figuring that out. That's good. So, in fact, let's just see for a minute how many. We've got different categories today. We have some people who are brand new. Let's see if you're brand new. You've never been to a senior. All right. Okay. On Zoom. Then some of you had been on Zoom. Okay, so that's fine. We're glad to form our community again. But how many of you were attending the seminars before the pandemic when we were at First Presbyterian? Okay. Okay, so a large number of you. So we're glad that, the pandemic, well, lots of challenges. And so we started these seminars, for those of you who are new, they started in 2016. And they've been monthly, because we don't meet in December. We missed 1 month in March 2020 when nobody knew what was going on. We couldn't meet and we didn't have a backup plan immediately, but by April we did. And so we were virtual then until this past November. And then we moved here. So we're delighted to be here. And some people had asked me, well, how come you're not a First Presbyterian anymore? Nothing against Presbyterian, except for parking's a challenge. Okay, they're my First Presbyterian people. And there's so celebrate. Parking is more accessible. And I don't complain if you had to park across the street. I mean, at least you had parking. Those of you who came years before would come early in the morning to get parking. So, my goodness. Speaking of First Presbyterian,
yes, indeed. Just be careful what you're saying.
I know. I finished my app down. Many cars go, ooh, and she's going to be checking on me. Anyway, so we're delighted to be able to be here. The purpose of the seminars is to, as we always say, educate, equip, and inspire seniors to make informed choices and empowered decisions. You're strong people, and sometimes we kind of back off and let kids make decisions, which sometimes it may be appropriate, but on your time schedule, not their time schedule. But we want you to have the information. As I've been working, I am, for those of you I didn't meet, I'm Virginia Lazenby. I am a senior downsizing coach and a realtor. And now I own an additional business I'll talk about in a minute, Seniors Living Smarter Services. But I started the seminars because of my work with seniors in downsizing when they were moving. And for myself too, I thought, oh my, I need a lot more information and resources to support these people. When you're moving from a home to an apartment, it's a whole different move than what some of you may have moved many times before. But we're not just picking up everything and moving it to the next place. We have to do some sorting, and our backs may not be as strong as they were 15 or so years ago. And so a little support is important. And that's where we would work with a team of people who can make it easier. But I saw the need for myself to have information to build a team that could provide that. And I want to share the information with you all. And it's not always, obviously it's not always about lifestyle, as we like to say, or about downsizing. Usually there was a broader topic that we wanted to share, and we're looking forward to that. We'll talk more about that topic in just a minute. I do want to pick up one more thing about the downsizing. I've had some of you ask me and say, but I need more information on downsizing. I want to say, well, we do have seminars that will be coming up a little more related. But 2 resources I want to mention to you. Be sure that you've seen on the website, Seniors Living been redone, so it's a little bit clearer to find the seminars. You can go there not only to register, but to see the past seminars. One of the silver linings of COVID was that when we went to Zoom, we started recording the seminars, and people like that. And so now we're not broadcasting live, but the seminars are being recorded, and usually like the next week, they will go up on the website. So you will have access to them if there's a topic you miss or a friend you want to share it with. But all the seminars, well, maybe one or two technical problems, but essentially since April 2020 are online, I think. So there are particular topics we may, or I may figure out a way to make it clear some of the downsizing topics. Another resource for those people who are really thinking about downsizing, it doesn't mean you're moving next month, but you're wanting to get ready. Get ready may mean I'm thinking seriously about next year, maybe even 3 years, but I want to be ready. We started last May in 2021 a downsizing club, and we meet monthly, the first Tuesday of the month. We have some people with us today who have been in downsizing club: Catherine Miller, Pat Sykes. Oh, where did you come from? You weren't here. Judy Mayo, Cornelia, where are you? Look, raise your hands. So Cheryl, excuse me, and Jenny was in, she graduated. She moved to an independent living community. But truthfully, what the downsizing club is a support group. And we also share information, but sometimes the flyers about that kind of packed today. But on your evaluation sheet, feedback, a little yellow sheet, you can, if you want more information about downsizing club, mark that. If you want to visit with some of our participants in that, you can visit with them, or I'll be over at the Seniors Living Supportive Services table. But it's a nice little support group, I think. We have fun, so that's good. And it's a small group. We, 6 to 10, 12 people. So are you looking for your evaluation thing? No, we're just looking. Okay, I'm going to explain the binder in just a minute. Okay. Yeah. It's okay. Everybody I do is read out, go crazy without a lifesaver. Okay, so let me, a few more shout outs here. I want to thank our educational partners, our sponsors. They have tables set up, and I'm glad to see several of you visiting with them before. They'll be here after the seminar, so you can visit with them as well. Our sponsor, our educational partners, Vera Bank. Will Boughton is here from Vera Bank. And if you want to make Will really happy, ask him about his first article he had published in Business Review, Choosing a Financial Advisor, Part 1, Follow the Money. We will show you this, but I don't know who Will thinks is going to be able to read it. We did have a discussion about that. But he knows the information, so check with him about that. Another sponsor we have with this educational partner is Visiting Angel, Stacy Scarborough. There she is. Her table's right over here, so if you're needing information about home care and getting accurate information. So many times. Well, the neighbor said, or this or that, I have to have a long-term contract. If you have questions, and not only just about Visiting Angels, but that part of the senior industry, check with Stacy. Get the facts, not the hearsay. So now that I've intrigued you, figure out that one. And then Wesleyan Homes. Holly, where'd you go, Holly?
Here.
Oh, Holly is with Wesleyan Homes. Of course, with Wesleyan Homes, we have all levels of care: independent, assisted, memory care. They have cottages, rehab, skilled nursing, home care, home health care, and hospice. I think I got
Personal assistant search. Help doing something.
See what, you may be careful offering it. See what you have to do to qualify, personal assistance. But Wesleyan Homes, of course, a great supporter here in the community and wonderful resources. I know several of you are on a list to move to that community, so we'll see how those lists continue. I think North Star is with us today. North Star is a 55-plus community out here on Westinghouse, just past 1640. And for those of you who are new to our seminars, I just want to briefly clarify this. When we talk about senior communities, we talk about independent living, we talk about assisted living, and so on. Hallmark of independent living is that there is some type of meal plan. There are apartments, and we can talk more about that. 55 plus apartments, and we're seeing a lot of those open up in the area. So it is 55 and up, and there's special activities. There is not a meal plan. So when people say, well, you know, I'm moving to a community, I don't want to cook, then probably you want to go to independent living. You say, I just, you know, I want to cook. I want to cook. I just don't want to take care of my house. And then 55 plus communities are a possibility for you. So anyway, we'll discuss those at another seminar. Oh, and the other educational partner is my business, Seniors Living Smarter Services. It is a downsizing business, so we can coordinate all your needs from sorting, organizing, management, liquidation, getting your house ready to sell, and then the real estate side can jump in and help you with the real estate course. So we will all be back there. Stop by and visit with us at the seminar. And let's see. Oh, sliding groups. So for those who've been here before, you get brownie points if you brought your binder. In fact, Gardner, it was so funny when we were visiting, she had her binder. So I thought Brielle had given her a new one. She said, oh no, I've been here several times. And I went to check with Brielle. Virginia, she brought her binder with her. That's what you're supposed to do. So, that is the important part about that. And each month then, when you return, you will get a packet of materials. And on the back of it was this little, not yellow, but orange. You can fill out at the end and put in your basket up there. Now, this is intended to help you organize the material, add resources to it. Yes.
We can go through this one of these.
Yes. Oh, okay, yeah. We'll do that. Okay, sorry about that. Okay. We'll figure that out. Remind me afterwards. Can you share it for right now? Okay. Yeah, we'll get that for you. Yes. Well, and don't follow instructions. Jeff, could you bring a packet over? I tell you, I'm going to give you mine after I. Okay, Jeff, bring another packet over too.
I need one too.
We need some more packets. Jane needs.
Sorry.
She didn't follow instructions.
I just got here. Thank you.
Oh, it's the last one? We need some more. I'll give this up, or Holly can give hers up if we need.
Last one. I'll keep.
Or I'll sell them, see what I can I think we're okay. Gary and Kate, yeah, they got it. Okay, so.
That's $100.
They're really, oh, this time it might be look on with these. Okay, so the way the seminar works for those of you who are new is that we have to, have our panelists come up and we have questions. They'll take us through the content of the day. And then around 11, we usually are able to, at that time, open it up for questions from the floor. Otherwise, we just try to get through our content so we don't get too misdirected. And behind the data sheet, there is your form about the seminar. There's some lines on here. Just when you're ready to raise your hand, say, oh, I need to know about this or that. Take your pen or pencil and write your question here. So when we open it up for questions and answers, you'll be ready, okay? And you'll notice that there are action steps. These will make more sense after we finish our program today. But each month we give you action steps. And here comes the test. Okay, how many of you were here in June? Now you're ready to all right, we see you. And your action steps, that was like a plan A and a plan B. Downsizing with challenges, talk with family and friends. If you are a caregiver, to be sure to schedule time for self-care. How many of you who were here in June did one of the action steps? Connie and Don can't decide if they did or not, so I'm not sure. Okay. Judy did. Good. Okay, so remember, we are here to inspire you. We can't do it for you. You gotta follow up with your own action steps there. Okay, so that's. Now, a lot of these you're going to want to refer to during the presentation. We will have some of them up here on the screen, but most of what you need, just a couple things, will be in this packet. So this is a tremendous resource, and we'll be going through this shortly, but I just want you to know that it is here, and then we have some other supplements too. And this back is before sheet, and you can leave that this little wire basket up there by our table where the water bottles were. Okay, now, before we, another thank you. Thank you very much to Jeff Grant. He's my website person, got drafted into technology support here. He's wonderful, 3L guard, he can get outside and may have talked with on the phone, both lifesavers. And worked hard to put this packet together for you. Now, this is a really broad topic. We can't, it's not a hands-on, help me set this up on my phone. We're going to give you good resources to go to, and that's great. And then that's where you'll see a lot of online sites or apps you can use, and we'll be talking about that. So we hope you will follow up. Today we're talking more about the use of okay. All right. Today's focus is really on personal technology and on personal online security. We're not getting into all the technology you can have in your home to assist you. We're going to do a program in 2023 that will focus on that. And even like personal care, the assist devices, that will come up more at that time. We've got plenty to do with our topic today. Let's do a little survey here. Okay, how many of you have a smartphone? Raise your hand. Oh, good. Okay, great. Now, I'm not going to have to show hands on this, but the question I thought I was, how many of you have smartphones and use them for something besides a phone, like taking pictures, texting? Some of us are going, no, it's my phone. But anyway, we're going to challenge you in that area. So most of us have smartphones. How many of you have a tablet? Okay. We're going to give some suggestions here if someone were looking for some of these devices. What about a laptop? Okay. Well, now we haven't gone back to see who never raised their hand, but we're not going to worry about that right now. Okay. So as we, oops, I'm sorry. All right. Do we have the 5? Can you have the 5 points here? Yes. All right. As we're trying to build a context for what we're about today, and oftentimes we want to know all this, and in every seminar I say that is wonderful. Slap yourself on the back for being so prepared and knowledgeable. Some of us are going on back at starting line, or behind. Well, you're taking a major step. You're here, so we appreciate that. We've tried to pull together for some of you this may be reassuring or others it may not. But as we've really done some research and shared with other people, I'm in a network of other people that do seminars similar to this across the country. We do our own, but we share what we learn too. We've come up with kind of what we call 5 truths about technology. And I love this. Technology is more than just computers and smartphones. Now, some of us are happy we can even do that, but there's a lot more out there. And this one I think we will agree with. Technology is proliferating at a pace that's hard to keep up with. It just keeps changing,
sure is.
new things, and it can be pretty overwhelming. And so our panelists are going to help us feel better about that today, I hope. I like the next one. Learning to love, or at least use technology, can be what helps to keep our minds sharp. Now, I know we're going to talk a little bit, it can be a time killer, waste of time, but they're great resources if you find those. And definitely technology can make our lives safer and easier. And my favorite one, technology provides frustration at all ages. Now, I know many of us say, well, call your grandson and have him come explain it to you. My older grandson is 9, so I'm beginning to see the realization when his peers can do it, but he can't teach me how to do it. Here, DC. But, okay, enough of that. We are going to invite up, we're fortunate to have 2 panelists with us today, and I'm going to ask them to come take their hot seats up here. All right, so I'm going to ask our panelists to introduce themselves, and then we're going to go from there. Ann.
My name is, this is on, right? Okay. My name is Ann Evans. I am the Adult Services Librarian at the Georgetown Public Library, so just hop, skip, and a jump that way. And what that means is, in addition to doing all of the fun, normal librarian stuff, like buying books, I also work on adult programs. So, for instance, our live music, Wired Wednesday, which is a program I'll talk about that deals with tech help, the different programs that we offer throughout the year at the library. Myself and my team are the ones that put those together for the adults.
And she'll be sharing more about that, and she has some great information in her handout too. Okay. So Georgetown Public Library, Wired Wednesday, start kind of filing some of this away. Sylvan.
Hi, Sylvan Lacoste. I work with Age of Central Texas, specifically as the administrator of the Age Computer Lab and also the Senior Connect program. Brought Roger with me because Age does a lot of other things, and I'm not necessarily up to speed on all the things that Age does, so thanks Roger for coming. And the Age Lab is kind of last on the list there. My background, again, we had an actual physical, space at Age where people could come learn, computers. But since COVID, that all got shut down. I came in about a year ago, and the concept that I'm trying to push and what we're doing is actually bringing the lab out to the community. So in the facilities where folks can gather and learn technology. Senior Connect is a grant-funded program where we're really providing a tablet and instructions to older adults, and kind of administer both of those.
So we'll be learning more specifics, and if you need more specifics, then visit with Sylvan at the table afterwards. We know that COVID did change a lot of things. There was a neat computer lab program here at the Georgetown Rec Center, and then that COVID took that away, and so, you know, a lot of people are reevaluating how to deliver those services. So we're trying to help promote that. Okay, let's get started about, I'm gonna ask, well, we'll both chime in, I'm sure. Ann, I'm gonna start with you. And what do you see as some of the most widely used personal electronics used by seniors?
Obviously your phone, right? Most of you had a phone. So that's one of the widely most used devices is our phone, but as Virginia alluded to, we don't often use it at its fullest capacity. So we are just using it for messaging or emailing, not emailing, voicemail and phone calls and that type of thing. But you could be using it to email. You could be using it to read ebooks or listen to audiobooks, even connecting your phone to your hearing aid and listening to audiobooks through your hearing aid instead of having to pop in separate earbuds. We can do that. So that's probably one of the most used, and increasingly smart TVs. How many of you ever use a streaming app like Netflix or Hulu or, yeah. So increasingly that's the way that we have to consume media. They are not printing DVDs at the same rate that they used to. We are unable to find them. So we know people want them, but we cannot physically buy them as a library because they're not making them. So we're starting to have to learn and use smart TVs more, use streaming services more, use our laptops to access those. So definitely phones, smart TVs are the two, and your cars. How many of you have a big screen in your car? I do not know all of the things that my car can do.
No, I don't either.
So that's another aspect of technology that we often don't think about that is part of our daily life, is all the different things that we could do in our car and all the ways that cars are increasingly keeping us safe because of the technology that they have within them. So the lane detectors that will beep, 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 and are very frustrating and annoying sometimes when you're like, I am in the lane. But it's all technology that's impacting our daily life, right? And learning to use that better can improve our daily life.
And I think an important point Ann is saying, some of us who are reluctant to say we use technology, we really are. You know, we could just probably use it more. And that's where we want to, wherever you are in this journey now, we hope we can encourage you to take the next steps appropriate for yourself. So when you want to add to that?
Yeah, I would say the same thing. What we're seeing, especially through the Senior Connect, is everybody has a smartphone, most of them, some don't. And by doing the tablet program, the smartphone is the same system as the tablet. And so once they learn the tablet, now they're learning things, the same things they can do on the phone. It's Android based because it's a little bit cheaper. There's two of them out there, but the big one, you know, Android based system, and then Apple. And depending on, usually the lower income, it has, you know, the Android, it's a little cheaper. But once you learn what to do on a tablet and you can see it, then they start being able to do things more on their phone too.
So when you mentioned about when they learn how to do things, what do the two of you see? What holds seniors back from, you know, embracing technology, from your experiences of working? And the reason I ask the question is that's sometimes for us to know we're not in this alone. Oh yeah, you know, that's really how I feel. Well, we know other people feel that way. It may make us or help us feel a little better. So we'll start with Sophie.
Yeah, so like I said, the Senior Connect program kind of ran the gamut. Some people that had never touched a touch screen and didn't even know how to, you know, I mean, they had to actually practice that muscle memory is just not there. And, you know, kids grow up with it, but, you know, when you're starting from scratch, it's a new thing. So what was the
Well,
actual
let me
question?
have Ann address it. We're going to come back to some of those. So you're saying they haven't experimented with it, they just haven't done it.
Right, so what we're seeing is that they're having to learn something new, especially you know, the swiping and all that kind of stuff. But once they get it though, then it's exciting.
And that's the important part. One of the things we'll be talking more in depth about is what opportunities, resources are there for training. So,
Yes, and it's overwhelming, right? It's overwhelming at any age. There's the number of choices that we have. I don't like when I have to pick a new phone because there's so many different choices. Are you going to go with an Android? Are you going to go with an Apple device? It's can quickly shut you down just because you don't want to have to make a choice, or you're scared you're going to make the wrong choice. You don't know it, you haven't learned it. It can be cost prohibitive, exactly like you were saying. Androids tend to be cheaper, but is it something that you want to invest a little bit more money in because it's going to work better for you? So there's a lot of different components that go into what make you feel like you can't do technology or can't use technology. I also think about, though, the fact that my great-grandmother grew up in a time where she saw cars become more prolific, she saw microwaves become invented, and she still managed to learn all of those things, and she saw computers as well. So this isn't new. This is part of the human condition. New technology comes along, and it can be overwhelming. It's just coming along at a faster pace and a faster clip than I think it has in the past. And we're more exposed to it, and that's wonderful because it means we're more interconnected, but it can also mean it's far more overwhelming.
so we want to try to break this down step by step, or wherever you might be. Let's go ahead and in your packet, you will see a page about resources that are available to support seniors. And do you want to walk us through some of those?
Yes, so one of my absolute favorite resources is actually a website, and it's called GCF Learn Free, and it's actually through Goodwill. And what I love about it is it has everything from let's practice clicking our mouse and dragging and dropping things, to let's learn Photoshop, which is a pretty advanced computer application.
So is this the GCF?
Yes, GCF Global is one of my absolute favorite sites. So it's runs the gamut. It also has a lot of different ways for you to learn. So it does have interactive components to it. It does just have text, and it has videos. So depending on your learning style, it can help work for you. Another one I really like is Cyber Seniors. Again, it has a lot of different resources on it. It also has a blog that's very useful because it can do reviews. They can tell you how different products work. So that's a nice other resource.
And so I think the important point here is we don't have to go out somewhere, although we do want people to see her at Wire Wednesdays. But if it's, you're wanting, I was so excited, I think that was the site where I was just giving food there since I'm behind the time and having learned to do this too. I saw the one about how to learn how to take a screenshot. I'm always forgetting how to take a screenshot on my computer, and then I have to go look it up. And I started that tutorial just to get into it enough to go, I think I can learn it this way, but it's like she said, it's mouse or whatever it is. So there are resources, and those are two. And let's see, any others. But there is a page there. Brielle, was there anything else you wanted me to call attention to?
Yeah, there's another, in the other slides, and you don't have to move into your booklet, but basically there's quite a few links in there, and I will send these links electronically, so you just click on it and it'll take you to these websites. So after the seminar, you'll all receive next week all of those links. But AARP also has Senior Planet on YouTube, and it's a great site offered through AARP that also has these same types of classes on there. But Cyber Seniors and that Learn Free that Ann mentioned are both fantastic sites, and you just search for what it is that you're looking to do within that. So if you need to learn how to use your phone or the camera on your phone, you search for that and it'll pull up a class to teach you how to do it. So again, you don't have to go out into the community. A lot of these resources are online for you, but that AARP one is Senior Planet.
All right, Sylvan, do you want to add anything about resources for learning the computer? Well, not the cybersecurity, we're going to get to that in just a minute. Okay.
Again, we're kind of developing that, just if you get on the AID website and the computer lab, what we're doing is we're actually out there in the community. We have several like family elder care facilities. We're developing curriculum for them at their request based on what they want. And so as we develop those, we'll also make those available on the website.
Obviously, it's always changing and growing. I know we've talked about it, some of you may have visited Maravilla, which is down in the Domain. It's independent assisted memory care and so on, and they've been very active in developing computer programs.
Well, so what they have is they have an application called Life Loop where, the older adults can sign up for all the activities, the ones with them, and then being able to get a ride and all those kind of things. And so we're teaching how to use that application. And then as we do that, we're also getting some insight into some of the things that they might need.
And I think both of these, and Sylvan, have been very, we want to know what seniors need to know, and then how can we deliver more of that. And tell us a little bit more about Wired Wednesdays.
So Wired Wednesday is a program that is currently every other Wednesday. You have the dates that it's upcoming in your handout. I've also got handouts over there. We're hoping to get it up to every Wednesday. That's what it was pre-pandemic. And it's an hour long. Basically, you come with your questions. So we say always bring your device, bring your passwords, bring your chargers, because we don't want the device to die mid trying to answer your question. Yeah. And we will sit with you and walk you through how to do it. We've had everything from people wanting to know how to transfer photos from their phone to their computer, wanting to set up a Pinterest account, wanting to just set up their phone initially, wanting to connect it to an Apple Watch, questions about how to use our Libby app, which is our e-book, so digital books and digital audiobooks, how to set that up and how to use it. We can go all through those. We had someone bring a bread machine once. I don't advise that. We were all very confused. Don't bring, yeah. Kitchen devices maybe should stay in the kitchen. We can help you find the manual, but maybe don't bring those to the library.
So I hope that, and I'm bad about this, when I don't know something, I kind of withdraw, and I feel like it's really stupid question, who can I go behind the scenes and get questions and resources from? We've all been there, just get it out, and you're very patient to help people wherever you are.
Librarians are very comfortable with the words, I don't know, but let me find out. And that's one of our goals in Wired Wednesday. And we can either just, if you say set it up for me and then just show me how to find books, we can do that. Or if you want to know, how do I set it up? If I get logged out, what do I do? We can go through with that level of detail as well. If it's something that's a more involved question, we might ask you to set up another time to come meet with us one-on-one.
And they do have to register ahead for Wired Wednesday.
They do not.
Oh, they
register as you come in. We do have a limited number of slots.
After this seminar, you may regret that you may be overrun.
Oh, I already asked for extra staff that day. So we can have backup. But we do have a limited number of slots, or we might limit you to one question if there's a lot of people waiting. Like, what's your most pressing question for today? And then we can go through other questions at a later time.
So mark those dates on your calendar. It's here in your packet, and Nan has separate sheets back there. And then maybe if you make a strong enough appearance, they'll go to every Wednesday instead of every other Wednesday. Okay.
What time is it?
4 p.m. and it'll be upstairs. Which room exactly it ends up being in depends on the meetings we have at the library that day, but it will be upstairs.
And they will have it clearly marked, so you won't get lost. There's only one hallway up there.
There's only one hallway.
Now, another place for support, and probably some of you have used this, and again, some of us don't feel as comfortable, but you have like Geek Squad at Best Buy. And I would admit, sometimes it depends on who the person is, but you explain your needs and see if you can get help there. Somebody want to talk about Apple Store Genius Bar? Anybody want to talk about that? Definitely.
Yeah, I'll add that much information.
Okay.
Basically, you make an appointment there.
Yeah, they have various courses, but they also have a thing called the Genius Bar, where you can make an appointment to sit down with a specialist in whatever topic you're interested in getting help with it, even if it's just setting up your computer. And you'll have an appointment.
Not hearing you. Closer. Well, sort of closer.
Okay,
Okay.
it's working? Okay, if you buy a computer or get a computer, an Apple computer, you can make an appointment at the Apple Store, the Genius Bar, and they will help you set up anything you need. The other thing is they have online and also phone support, where they will actually call you at a time you want and walk you through a problem.
Looks like Jim must have used that. Were you the one that, I heard you say yes?
Well, I was just thinking of when I got a new computer, and they told me that I could, or somebody
Sometimes it doesn't quite work. You have to be,
I really hate to say negative, but the woman did not know if this was.
and then that's where you have to call back. You know, that happens to all of us. So there was an affirmation to how far along you are in the process because you knew so much. I don't know, Marianne, I saw your expression. I think some of us at least chuckled inside about the Apple Store Genius Bar. You know, you do not have to qualify as the genius. We hope the person on the other side may be more of the genius. But anyway, so that is a good resource. Depending on where you live, some neighborhoods are doing more and more, just like Children's Group with Age of Central Texas, trying to work more with some of the senior communities. Many of you live in Sun City. Of course, there's an outstanding computer club there with all kinds of resources. And so, you know, sometimes you just have to check out and see what is available. Another area I just wanted to call attention, I know we said we're not getting into personal care as much, but for communication, you know, we're so much of our medical communication now. For red, scarlet, and white people, my chart. Some of us are reluctant to get in and use it, but once we start using it, it can really help with communication. And either of you want to pick up on that?
So yes, and that's also another component that we've done at Wired Wednesdays is literally help someone set up their initial MyChart account. So that they can then log in, just showing them the basics of it. Not only is there applications, there's physical things like Apple Watches and increasingly other smart watches, which will do fall detection. Let alone, you know, being able to call for help if you need it on your wrist and not having to go find your phone. But if you fall and need assistance, it's you're not responsive, they'll call for you, which is being used not only by seniors, but also people that have different medical conditions. That's a big, useful thing, as well as like the heart monitoring. How fast your heart's beating, measuring it at different times, recognizing when you're having maybe a tachycardia attack or something like that.
So that's a little card on your
Little
smartphone.
heart on your smartphone.
So for those of us who haven't tuned in to use it, don't freak out. Go visit Dan
Yeah.
and learn how to use it.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think a lot of this, I hope, is kind of whetting your appetite for some of you who are saying, oh, I already know all that. Give yourself a pat in the back for doing so well. Others of us are going like, oh time. Go to Wired Wednesdays would be a good first step. All right, I want to move to this question, because I know a lot of us have concerns about online security. I'm afraid to put stuff online, or I don't know what's going to happen. So, Sylvan, enlighten us about online security and so on.
So, in your, I guess, packet there, I had some questions, but apparently they didn't print out. They weren't kind of not printed out very well. So I just wanted to kind of go through a few questions. It's kind of multiple
It
choice.
is in your handout.
So question number one, you get an email from your bank to your email account, and it's asking you, there's a suspected, transaction, and it's asking you on the email to log into your bank. What do you do?
You don't do
Do
it.
you say, well, it's free, so let's see. So yes, but first you should make sure the message looks like it's, legitimate. Or yes, if someone is using your bank account, you don't have a second to lose, and you need to get in there quick. Or no way, the whole thing sounds fishy.
Last one.
You'd be surprised.
But you know that number two, oh, they're doing it
Yeah.
right now, someone's gonna
You'd
take
be
out thousands of
surprised.
dollars.
So this is part of the curriculum for Senior Connect, the whole section here, and we really kind of dive in and actually circle the one, and I tell you, there's a lot that would click on it.
I just wonder how many of you have been receiving calls like I have, saying that so-and-so is charged $7,000 to your account, and you need to, click
Exactly.
for help, and of course you do not
Do not do that, okay.
click, don't, hang, just hang up.
Okay, thanks. All right,
So a couple more here. So you're surfing the web when you see a pop-up message from your service provider, if you got Spectrum or AT&T or whatever, saying that you need to click on the link to verify or update your account information. Reply immediately. If you don't cooperate, you can run the risk of losing all your email messages. Just say no. Legitimate companies, including ISPs, never ask for this information. Or it sounds like a reasonable request, so click on the link and see what type of information they need.
I
1,
think
2,
you
or
need to
3.
turn your computer off.
2.
what was two again?
2 is just say no. Legitimate companies, including ISPs, never ask for this information. And so for those of y'all, and my mother-in-law almost got scammed, legitimate companies like Apple, Microsoft, they use those names because you think
It
that
sounds
they're
good.
trustworthy, but they will never, the IRS, they're not gonna send you that. So you just need to know that up front. If you see anything that says, how do you know it's Microsoft? There's no way to know.
Along those lines, so when that include, we often get those calls about your social security, and there's a problem, we need our IRS. And again, if I get a call from the IRS, I freak out.
Right.
I'm gonna do anything I can to keep them off my back. Bad idea. So generally.
So everything that you're getting, like, phone calls and stuff, now when you're online, it'll be emails or text messages, so they're using the same approaches, but once you're connected, that's the avenue that they try to get you to respond.
So,
be careful.
still, we can't just hibernate into a shell. We have, well, you don't have to, but I think if you're gonna really be part of this time, we need to be using these materials that know how to, they're safe if we don't make ourselves vulnerable. I don't respond to these, And I don't know what now about apps. We had a discussion about apps. So, I don't know if it's safe to download apps, but if you download your apps from Google Play or App Store, those are secure. Now, if you go off to some email you got from somebody about something else, be careful there. But apps are pretty much some of us have taken a long time to accept this, but it's part of our daily routine, and it simplifies it, and we just click on the app, and some of us need to learn how to use the heart app on our smartphones. Okay?
So just, I have some more questions, but I didn't wanna, what time-wise, I mean, I could stop there, just go through some.
Just go for
Online
one
stuff.
more.
Right. So I'll just do one more. So, let's see. Question number 4. Is it safe? Let's say you work for an organization or you have some group, has, an IT office, your network administrator sends you an email warning of a security breach and asking you to confirm your password by entering it into a secure website. Negatory? Good answer. But you'd be surprised, that's how they get in, because, I mean, I'm getting emails right now where it's coming from the CFO. It looks like their name's there, but if you look at the email address, it's an external email address. But you wouldn't know that unless you looked at it. And it'll come from anywhere, and what'll happen is it'll get through, they got a lot of security in most businesses, plus sometimes they get through. And this one was related to, vacation time. So, hey, go sign up for, you got a new system, go sign up for your, vacation time. You'd be surprised how many people click on it.
They're getting more and more sophisticated. It just sounds okay, but it used to be, and it's still, so when you see strange grammatical, or if there are errors, you're just editing, and come on, that's a real thing.
And to Sylvan's point, check your email address that it's coming from. Check the subject too. And if those seem off, and check any links they have, because they'll just tweak an actual link a little bit by a letter or two, so that they can use that URL, but that's how they're gonna get you.
The scary part is it looks like it's legitimate because it's coming from your HR person or your, CFO or your finance person, using their name.
Beware.
Beware.
I want to pick up on the point about passwords. I was glad to hear the groans, but no, don't go show your passwords. I think for so long, at the beginning of all this, don't write your password down, don't share it. We don't know what our password is. So we had some recommendations in there for different apps that will help us know what our passwords are. This is a little different, right? This one has really come home to me recently in speaking with a friend. Her husband, and I've seen it before. Someone's husband passed away in February, and this was just a few weeks ago, asking her how things were going. And we know it takes a long time to get all the, legal stuff and everything done. And she said, but our biggest challenge has been, I don't know the passwords for any of our accounts. And, he had them, but, we'll do this tomorrow. I'm generalizing now. Oh, I'm busy right now. I'll make sure you know these next week. Well, some of us, that next week never happens, unfortunately. A crisis occurs. If we can do anything with the spouse, make sure we both have access, know how, even know where the accounts are, and all that information. For some of you, a couple years ago, we had a handout, what are these accounts? What is your account number, and all that information. And I think some of the resources that Brielle, you have resources in there. I asked Brielle, I said, Brielle, do we need a handout about that for people to put their passwords? There is an app. I got it, Brielle. But if you're some of us who are not quite so up to date, make your list. Don't do the other. So, okay, I think when we talked about don't be left behind, I'm talking technology moving ahead. I remember this was way back in the early 90s. So my mother at that time would have been late 80s. And she was so freaked out by computers. And when she'd be at my house and I was working, and I was a professor at the time, and doing stuff on the computer. And my heart went out to her in so many ways because she just withdrew. And it was frustrating because I wanted her to engage. Well, now we have so many more resources to support. And I know Brielle and I talked about that when we were planning this, but it was a whole different world back in the early 90s. But we didn't need to keep up, so.
On the passwords, one other thing that's a good option for couples or maybe your child is you have face recognition on your phones, on your devices. And so my face will open my phone and my husband's phone and vice versa. And so I can get into his stuff if I need to just by facial recognition. So that's a really great tool as well. And then we have an app on our phone that includes all of our passwords for everything, and so we can get into each other's accounts. But that facial recognition can be a really good tool as well. If you don't want to have those things written down everywhere, that's a good option as well.
Or even just knowing each other's phone's password.
That would be a good start.
Yeah.
Okay, I know you have a question about that. We're gonna come back. So you had something else to add?
Well, I was just gonna keep going.
Okay, well, let's see what questions we may come back. Okay, now we can't answer particular questions about your phone and how to set up or what does this mean. Go talk to them afterwards. But other questions, general things that would be helpful for people. Okay, Donna.
So if you are getting a new computer and you want to give your old one away, how do you get all your things off of it? So you can give it away, like if you've done your IRS and things on it.
So how do you clear a computer that you want to get rid of? How many of us have a bunch of computers and laptops shoved in the back of the closet because we don't know how to clean them up? We're going to learn.
So it kind of depends on what system you have, but if it's a Windows-based system, you can reset it to factory and it'll basically erase everything, your apps, and it'll kind of start from scratch.
I know, I saw this, but I can't do that. And that's when you go to
That's
wire
when you come
Wednesdays and
contact
ask
us.
Ann.
And the reality of it is you can do that, but certain individuals could still get to some information. So the best way is to go ahead and dispose of your computer to a reputable recycler. For instance, in this area, Goodwill partners with Dell, and what they do is they'll take that hard drive out and they'll drill through it, so nobody's getting things off of it. And then they'll recycle that computer, give it away, whatever. You put a new hard drive in it, so no one's getting your old hard drive with your stuff on it. So that's is also recycle. Yeah, it's a little trust, but the fact of the matter is, unless you take your hard drive out and drill a hole through it.
Well, again, there's software out there that will, totally wipe out your hard drive, so it'll write to it, like fixes it.
Yeah, it'll scratch
basically
it.
nothing will be left.
But the important point, and I'm one of these people think, oh, well, no one's gonna find it, no one needs it, it's, 20 years old stuff. Well, I don't know, you keep hearing horror stories. So if you're gonna dispose of a computer, and if you have other questions, so taking it back to reset for manufacturing setup or whatever, and Goodwill, ask there.
That's fine.
Best Buy, ask at those places where you got your computer. Apple.
Yeah.
So one
The
of the things.
geniuses will help you, okay.
One of the things that we learned, because this part of Senior Connect, we also teach them how to get on, YouTube. And YouTube is like a resource like you wouldn't believe. You could just type in those words, like how do I reset a password? Or how do I reset a computer? And then there's a video that will show you exactly how to do that. Or how do I dispose of a hard drive? So there's a lot, once you're connected, that whole, YouTube has videos that just about everything.
And I know some of us, well, do I know if it's right? Do I know if it's good information? A lot of those, if we begin to see patterns, okay, well, that's supposed to be what I need to do. My husband works on plastic cars a lot. And it is amazing to me what he can find on YouTube to go out and, work on his car. So it's a great resource. Okay, thank you. Other questions?
do you have have a library card?
So, Ann, to come to Wired Wednesdays, do we need to have a Georgetown library?
No, basically all of our programs are open to the public. So there might be registration or that type of thing, but they're just open whether or not you have a Georgetown Public Library card or not. And now to use some of our databases, so I have some resources over there about Universal Class, which has over 500 classes. I told a couple people it has everything from cookie decorating to legal courses to creative writing, all sorts of different things. Mango languages, those types of things, yes, you would need a library card to access those.
And that reminds me, some of you who were, that would have been a recorded Zoom seminar last year when we talked about, what were the ones, Brielle, we're gonna talk about next month, I think. Were the activity ones? Good time, no.
A mighty good time.
A mighty good time. Some of you were, well, I see you were here at your house. We were on the using technology, wonderful Zoom. But next month, we're going to be doing some of those fun things that, you can find yoga classes. You can find anything. It's just part of trying. Just get out there and try. Okay, other questions? Either we have you so confused or you are so advanced. Okay? All right. Yes, Don.
I happen to have an HP desktop computer, and they have a service called Smart Friend. You can call them up, they'll help you, and if necessary, they can get into your computer and take care of whatever you need.
Right, and some of those, that was for HP and the Smart Friend. Some of us get nervous, you're gonna get into my computer, I'm gonna give you control of my computer. Is that really safe? What's your answer to that? And how do we know if it's legitimate?
Yeah, I mean, that's a concern to me. I don't let anybody in on my computer. Now, this is a paid service through HP or, one of those things. Then, it depends on, so it depends. So the ones that I've seen where that you do that is they have you download a little program and then they can get on, but then you can take it off. So if you're concerned about that.
You can disconnect them too.
That is how some hackers, I get a call from, I'm with Microsoft and you've got a virus, we need to get on your computer. Yeah, right.
Yeah, they're not.
You called them.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, if it's a paid service and those kind of things, then a little less concerned. But as long as you can monitor it, you can see, if anybody gets on the computer.
Connie.
Well, on the Apple, if you have help from the domain, they get on your Apple
Yeah.
phone to help you.
And that's what we need, so it's always, is it a legitimate source?
But most of those, you have to allow them in too.
Right.
So once you allow them in, they're there, but if anybody else likes to use it,
Yeah.
they can.
Right, but it's another device.
Other questions? Okay, back here, yes.
I think I'm going to be in need of some cyber doctor making a house call because my husband was a techie and he has, for example, 10 external hard drives connected to the main computer. And most of them are backups, I understand that, but the thing needs to be reconfigured, especially if I'm contemplating a move. Is there somebody that does that? I know there's some local people here, like the computer guy.
I understand words,
So if we need help in our home because it's just too much to take in for some of us who, in her situation when her husband had lots of hard drives and connections and, how do we get it scaled down? So, just spaghetti bowl, yes. How, recommendations for legitimate groups? that
Well, I
can
think
help?
you mentioned those, Geek Squad, those are the commercial, places, the Geek Squad could help you. They can also either bring it in, but like you say, if they need to come to a house call, they'll do something like get on your computer and check it out, stuff like that, and you'll allow them to do that. So there's several of those.
Do they work by the hour?
Yeah, usually they're, well, it just depends, you know, some of them it's a set fee, hourly, it's all over the place.
A lot of, like with Geek Squad, when you buy you can add it on later, but if you buy I don't know what it's called, you buy the Geek
Yeah.
Total Tech.
Total Tech is their program, so you pay a membership in essence for a year, and then you can call them for help. And sometimes it's frustrating because you have to go who knows where to get the call and then finally get back, but it can work well.
And that's very similar to what he was saying, the HP has their own service, and you pay for that.
And as you said, there's a couple of really good local ones because we do live in a tech area. So, yes, friendly, like, I would call around and get quotes.
They've been around for a long time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have been. They have been.
I was just gonna add that after a move, I think it's on, anyway, Geek Squad will come to your house if you have that Total Tech, and they will work on any of your items, whether you purchased it from Best Buy or not. And they came and put my whole system together.
You know, for those of you who are contemplating a move or have moved and still getting set up, you know, they're professionals. Sometimes in the communities, they will have tech people who can come help you with that. And if not, there are services that will help. And so, for many of us, just the whole thought of trying to get a computer set up, TV set up. My son-in-law makes fun of us because we have a smart TV, but he said, why? You should get a smart TV. You only watch the basic TV anyway, and it's driving him crazy when we're having to have him come help us. He's about ready to be sure his 10-year-old son can do what he does. Anyway, we're trying. So, other questions? You did such a great job. You answered all their questions, so we haven't confused. I'm
I
gonna
don't know what to ask.
Yeah.
There's too much.
You know, and I think that's often the problem. We don't know what to ask, or we think we don't know what to ask. I hope that if nothing else today, you've been aware of there are resources. And from some of the examples that Ian shared, there's no question too dumb to bring.
No, and I always say the first thing to ask is, what do you want to do? What is your goal? What is it that you're wanting to accomplish? And then you can backtrack into how do I accomplish that?
And the thing that I've noticed, if you try to understand all of it, you'll never get there. So it's like one piece at a time, just like anything else. What's the big, prioritize what you need to know. And as you get that, then things open up.
So what is the password app? How do you get to that? How do you?
Well, there's several of them. There's, again, it's an app. So go to, depending on if you have Apple or Google Play, so the App Store or Google Play. If it's a computer, you can just go search, password apps.
And it's secure?
And there's there's tons of them out there. I personally use Insecure. Of course, you pay for that. Now, there's free ones out there. I prefer paying a little bit. I think it would be, and what I liked about that one is it allows you to categorize. So if you're looking like your husband's or your family's passwords, you can put all those in one category, your passwords in another, and it's easy to. That's my personal preference, but that's what I do.
It's called Insecure.
Insecure.
M is his mother?
Yes.
Oh, M.
But like I said, there's tons of them out there, so, and a lot of them are free, or you can try them out for free. So some of it is just how they look and how easy they look to you.
Yeah, so on your handouts here, there's one of the slides that says popular apps and tech tools for seniors. And these are applications you can put on there. And there's actually one for Password Manager, and there's a few examples on there. 1Password, RoboForm, NordPass. Those are listed, and then there's some others as well if you're looking for what maps are the best to be used. Google Maps and Waze are gonna be your top rated. So on here, on these popular apps and tools for seniors, there's some examples on here. And again, go to the App Store or to Google Play Store to download those. Don't just go willy-nilly and search for it, find a random link. You're gonna wanna download them directly from the App Store, and a lot of them are free.
Check out the ratings,
Yes.
things like that, and what people say about it.
Yes.
I mean, that's usually what I do.
I know.
For everything. I mean,
Yeah,
for everything.
for every app, that's a good resource. I personally use LastPass.
What was that name?
LastPass.
Last pass.
And part of the reason that we use that is because it allows you to share with other people. So my husband and I both use it. And we have some passwords are just mine and he can't see them. But then we have a shared folder where we put all of our account information that we both need to access or we both might need to access. And then as we were talking about earlier, we actually have each other designated as emergency contacts in that. So if something happens, he can then access all of my passwords. Basically what has to happen is I don't respond for 48 hours is the key. And then he suddenly has access to everything in my password manager and like vice versa. So that's also another tool for when the unexpected happens.
Is there a risk of these, one of these apps like LastPass to be hacked and then?
He's asking these.
Yeah, there's always a risk, and so that's where, I know mine, like Insecure, you have a password to get in. So if you give your password away, or it's too easy to, somebody will get in it.
Hey,
Like LastPass is
Is
definitely Christmas, they can't even read it.
secure,
They can't
S-E-C.
read your password.
Oh, the one I was referring to?
Uh-huh.
It's M as in Mary Secure.
Okay.
That's the one.
M Secure is the one that someone was referring to. I saw a question back here.
So related to passwords, and at the beginning, when I first had a computer, I'm sure lots of us did this, you use your pet name or you come up with, so you remember it.
Did you get
use
it?
the same password on different sites.
Then I
You
don't-
have to memorize so many.
Then I put .net or .com.
You need a lot of passwords. So
Yeah,
now, I don't know.
secure.
I think
Google,
that is
I
an
don't know,
app.
ask to update
Okay, all right.
password.
So if you go find that app,
No,
I think that's what he was saying.
Yeah, so Google will do it if you're using Google Chrome. Apple, iCloud also has a keychain, and those are just like built-in password managers to your devices or to the browser you're using. So Google Chrome, yes, we'll remember that if you're logged in, it will save your passwords. Same with like Firefox. And again, your Apple device will save your passwords in what is called the iCloud keychain.
So can somebody, if it's using computer, I mean, you're using other things. So
I don't put my most valuable passwords in there. I always access them through my password manager through LastPass. But things that I'm not super concerned about, if someone gets in there, I'll just change it.
Well, the other thing I wonder about, and the reason I haven't used them is probably less about security, but I've had instances where, I've had a computer, I've had it for a number of years, one day, it's just not working anymore, and if I didn't know what my passwords were, how would I get into
Yes, and so that's why I like the password manager, is because as long as you know your password to get into that application, you can download it on a new phone and it's all saved, or I can access it from my computer or my phone.
Okay, I want to take one more question, we need to wrap up.
Find out how you get rid of the email or Gmail or whatever if somebody passes away and you don't want that anymore.
So much of it depends on what actual,
The question was email or if someone's passed away, how do you get rid of
yeah,
their?
so it's, how do you, and social media companies are increasingly coming up with death policies, but it is something that's newer and more in the last few years that they've been doing that. And there's different protocols depending on exactly what it is that you're trying to
In a little notebook on my desk.
When we get Facebook,
I'm
you know,
kind of
about
afraid to put
someone
them on
passed
anything.
away, they go away, you know. Okay,
Yeah, a big part of the issue there is the email address now is kind of like our home address used to be. And they're specific to that person, and with all these protocols and all this stuff, it's very difficult. My father-in-law just died, and trying to get rid of his stuff, you know, talking to somebody that's knowledgeable enough to be able to do that is a challenge.
I want to just post this one thing about what you said about the email address. This would have probably been 25 years ago, but I remember seeing it was a commercial. And it was in this classroom, the former career was teaching, so very sensitive to this, but the teacher was asking, what is your address? And you know, the little kid is rattling off his email address. And the next kid gives a street address. That was what in this ad. And that wasn't what the answer was supposed to be, but I remember that time thinking, so my email is going to become me, and we've got to see that to get into any account, or so many accounts use their email. Okay, I want to thank Ian and Sylvan. They're going to be over at the table. Hang on just a minute, and let's give them a round of applause. Once again, thank you all for putting all this together. Now, wait a minute. Look on your front sheet of your handout behind the color sheet. Here are your action steps. So we're going to be checking next month, and don't come back just because you didn't do an action step. But if you did, we'll give you brownie points. Explore cybersecurity, cyberseniors.org and or the learnfree.org for online tech classes. A gold mine of resources. We encourage you to go there and look at that. Visit onguardonline.gov to learn more about this page. Learn about online security. Go to Wired Wednesday. Here we go. Download a password protection management app and or create a list of passwords. That's what we were talking about. So we encourage you to set these as your goals. I know we sit here and we talk about it, and we've all got good intentions, but we hope your good intentions become action steps. And so this is to help you be thinking about that. And of course, register for next month's seminar. You've got a lot of living to do. It'll be a fun seminar. Invite a friend to come with you. And some of you really deserve brownie points for inviting friends to come. We have some people out there that, you know, they're getting their friends here. That's great. And interested in downsizing, check out the Downsizing Club, and I'll be over at that table. Thank you all for being here. Stay cool.
I'm scared.
And we'll see you in August.